What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is that time again as I hit the button. Wildcard is activated. I will talk through all my early thoughts before we go through all the events of Game Week 5.
Hey people, Chelsea, they win again. But the question is Maresca actually doing a good job as manager there? Also, Aston Villa, the comeback kings, and that man, John Duran, off the bench, scores again. Also,
Rodgers returns. Incredible scenes as Morgan Rodgers brings in 2 assists and gets a nice little 10-pointer for his patient owners. Liverpool back to winning ways. Ange steadies the ship, and Arsenal hold out for a draw against Man City.
on Friday this week, we'll be releasing Match of the AI. This weekend's big fixture, Newcastle versus Manchester City. Trust me, people, it is an absolute belter. Get in touch and follow us at Tom and Will FPL on all the different social media platforms. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Also, let us know what you think of the show. We'd love to hear from you.
Let's do it. What's up, everyone? How you doing? What's up, Will?
Hey, Tommy. I'm good, man. How are you?
Really good, really good. Very excited to record with you today, mate. On this fine Monday morning, it is pissing down with rain, man. Jesus Christ! Is it raining where you are?
It was when I was walking the dog, obviously, and then now it seems to be nice and bright out there. So,
mate, I ditched the girls at school. I live in a village. I'd say there's a 90% chance I'm not going to be able to retrieve them later because the village is going to be like flooded, which is fine by me, by the way. They can stay there. It's mental. How was your weekend?
it was good. It was good. I had a chilled Friday night, nothing too dramatic, and then Saturday I was raring to go for the football. Walked the dog nice and early, got my changes done, made sure that everything was good for the week's football, and I was just locked in from beginning to end, which was nice. And it was such a good weekend of football. And then
it was a great day, wasn't it, man? It was nice. After last week, it was good to just have something to talk about, mate. All the usual guys were back in business.
Yeah, it was great results, which we're going to go through. But yeah, then obviously watch the boxing. I watched it yesterday in the evening. Watched the United game with Spike, obviously. And then he was like, should we go back to yours and watch the boxing? I was like, yeah, definitely. So we oh, right. So listen to this. We ordered some food, he loves like chicken wings, obviously. And we have this place called Wingstop around near where we live. And we ordered like a pretty decent feed. And they sent it twice.
No.
We had like 50 quid's worth of food twice. I've got so much food in my fridge, and this week I was supposed to be like on a good week, like in the gym, and I've just got so much fried chicken.
Mate, I'm coming round, mate. That sounds amazing.
So that was a good weekend. Not so great with the game week points, but not too.
Taking you over, mate. I'm on top. Finally.
I like it when you're on top, Pickle. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on. So do I. No, it was good, mate. It was a solid game week. And mate, I've hit the wild card button. So that team that just smashed you up, don't even need them anymore, mate. I'm gonna get a new team.
Yeah, and you are aware what happens when people do that. It's like you go, right, wild cards dropped, and you're like, this is the team, and it scores like 30 points, and everyone else scores 70.
Yeah, it's true, mate. It's true.
No, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one for me at the moment, but yeah, not too bad.
I'm just excited. I love a wild card, man. I was so excited. I was like a little kid at Christmas. As soon as 11 o'clock or whenever the deadline was on Saturday, as soon as that rolled around, I was like, boom. Straight in, hit it. I've had some nice little price rises already, which is good.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. Yeah, I watched a decent amount of football on Saturday. Took little one to football early Saturday morning. They lost 4-1. But mate, she's like a little defender. She's 6 years old, and she's just like, I'm a defender now. And I've just been teaching her to just rosette every time, mate. The ball comes back to her. Bosh, rosette. Bosh, rosette. And honestly, mate, at that age, everyone's like, mate, this girl's really good. She's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah,
She don't run with her or anything. It's just get rid, safe,
yeah,
safe, mate. And
yeah. Out of touch.
yeah, yeah.
That's great.
And then yesterday, mate, you're gonna have to bail me out a little bit. I didn't watch, the City Arsenal game.
I know
It
you
was a
did.
bit of a faux pas. We booked it ages ago. We did it. We had a date night. It's Char's birthday next week, my wife's birthday, and I live in Oxford. Catherine Ryan came into Oxford, and we made a day of it. Went out for a lovely Thai meal. It was beautiful, and then went and saw Catherine Ryan. That was tough. That was a tough watch. I mean, she's great, mate, but fuck me, there's a lot of man bashing. I feel very delicate today.
Yeah, yeah. Slightly
Really
violated.
delicate. Honestly, I just felt like the punchline to every joke. Just kind of looking around, surrounded by women. Yeah, it was a very odd feeling. It was
Did
funny though.
you?
She was
Did you?
great. She's very charming. It was a lovely evening, but yeah, I missed the game. How was it? What, talk to me. Talk to me. What about? I've just watched the highlights.
It was. It was entertaining. I
Feisty.
mean, he's feisty right from the off. Like literally 10 seconds in. No, off at the kickoff. Haaland had collapsed like instantly. Was like bashed up, like charged in, and it was like
With
five
Havertz.
seconds. Yeah, instantly, and I was like, "Oh, we are on for one today." And
Yeah.
it really didn't let up the whole game. It was really entertaining. Red cards. This, it's going to be a.
I mean,
It's
that
so
was
like
stupid, man.
it's
I
so
saw
silly.
I saw the ball getting kicked away by Trossard, and I think the first time I saw it was a replay in slow motion, and I thought it was harsh. And then I watched it in real time with the commentary, and Neville piped up straight away. He's like, he's kicked it away. He's
Yeah,
gonna get booked. He's off. Like he called it straight away, and I was like, oh, fair enough. It was. It's just petulance, mate. It's stupid. Like they should know more than anyone by now. You can't do that. And it was just that whole thing of they were too riled up. Like they were too
yeah,
up for it, and it was so needless, mate. And I mean, they could have won. They should have won that game. They did great holding on,
totally.
though.
Did you see the? You see, didn't one thing that most people have picked up on? Haaland,
Oh,
after they scored, he threw the ball at the back of Gabriel's head, and it made me laugh so much.
I need to see this. I'm gonna watch it right now.
Watch
I
it.
haven't watched.
He is just. I mean, the shithousery like that is going on during the game, halftime, final whistle. I'm just about it.
Awesome. That's so good. I've just
It's
seen
good.
it. I've just seen it.
It's not like he tried to. It's not like he didn't know exactly what he was doing. Picked up the
It was
ball. Was
great, and he
like,
totally got away with it as well. Gabriel, like he was so quick because he was like a yard away when he threw it. He threw it and carried on running. Gabriel turned around. That's fucking great. Love it.
I love it. Just such a good attitude. Just schoolboy stuff, isn't it? That's what it should be. Like just
Yeah,
shit.
that's
Like
what I
that's just
mean. That's what we want to see. We want to
yeah.
see the piss taking, just rattling people. It's
And
what it's
then
all
at the
about, man.
end, oh, I forgot.
If
I
those are the
totally.
dark arts, mate, then let's bring it. I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
And then at the end, when they were all going to get little bit handbags, it was kind of the new kid, the 17-year-old, was like trying to give it some, and Harlan was like, "Sorry, who the fuck are you?" It's like fair play.
Yeah, that's so
But
great.
yeah. Oh, good
We've
stuff.
jumped in a little bit here. Should we quickly talk about what we got on today's show?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so guys, today I've hit the button. I'm going to be talking about my wild card for game week 6. Very exciting. We'll go through that, and then we'll go through what happened on game week 5. Chelsea and Liverpool looking good again. Got some wins. Rodgers has returned. Unbelievable stuff. Villa with another comeback. We'll talk about that game. City and Arsenal. Supposed to be talking about City and Arsenal. Feel like we've ticked it off already. Fantastic. Nice one, Will. And then we'll briefly look ahead to game week 6. We're also going to be touching base on our Teen Takedown. It was a tricky week. We actually had a fantastic week this week, but not without struggles, man. It's hard getting a team out, as we'll get into with our 10% ownership rule. And then we would usually finish with Match of the AI, but this week we are going to be pushing Match of the AI to a separate pod, which will be coming out on Friday night. So look out for that. This week it will be Newcastle versus Manchester City. Very, very exciting. But first, let's have some listener questions.
Yes. Listener
This
questions.
week, thank you very much, everyone, for getting in touch. Just a reminder, guys, come and follow us at Tom and Will FPL. Get in touch. Let us know what you think about the show. We'd love to hear from you. If you just want to say hi, enjoyed the episode, come on down. We'd love to know who you are. But thank you for your lovely questions this week. I've got a question for Will. Hi, Will. I saw this thing on ITV the other week. It said that if she plays with her hair, she's probably keen. In your experience, is this true?
I mean, yeah, that is that's a, I think that's a fact. Actually, I think Mike Skinner said it best in one of his incredible tracks from an album called "A Grand
Yeah,
Don't Come for Free." If you
yeah.
haven't heard it, it's one of the best albums of all time, I believe.
Does that voice does sound very, very familiar? Who sings that song?
It's a golden, angelic voice, I think. But yeah,
It's
I know nothing
beautiful,
about it. I know nothing about it.
guys.
Next question.
Guys, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this because we're never allowed to talk about it. That was Will on that track, guys. He never liked talking about it, but it's such gold. Oh, I used to love telling people about it. You know that song? You know that song? That was Will. That was Will. He's got such a
And
beautiful voice.
everyone's like, "Oh, what,
No
the Dry Your
way.
Eyes one?" You're like, "No, no, the other one." But no, people love that track. People love that track. It's great.
That
I
album is
mean,
banging
we used it a bit when, like, after it came out. I was like,
with the girls.
"Yeah, yeah, a little."
Of course you did, mate.
It's still on my dating profile. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
come on. Big Willie 69. Check him out.
It's a
Okay,
good one,
next
actually. I might write
question.
that one. I might write that one down.
Question from Phil's back in town. He's got another question.
Of course.
Is this the week to stick rather than twist? Changes are costing me big. Screw you, Rogers, and your double assist. Also, he said, did you see that Connor Bradley, he put Darwin in his team 20 minutes before kickoff?
I
Now that
read that.
is a nugget. Mate, someone needs to be tracking players' fantasy teams. Like how do people know this? I don't even know where I'd look for that. How do you find people's teams? I remember
Well, they've got.
there was something about that when Haaland got injured and supposedly, do you remember he had that big injury last season? And
Mm,
supposedly all of Haaland's team had all of his family, had
that
transferred him
was it.
out. And
Yeah.
like, I was like, how do you know this? How do people get this information? Is it even real?
Like the thing is obviously you can't look at people's teams beforehand, and they must just be like in a WhatsApp group or whatever. Like, and it's
Yeah,
just
that
linked.
must be it. Is that someone's in Conor Bradley's mini league
Yeah,
and he's seen his team after deadline and gone, fuck me, he's put Darwin in. That's fake.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
boom, Darwin's in the starting lineup, scores a beautiful goal,
Oh, mate,
Jota's
that
out.
goal. Yeah, we went. Oh god, that what a sensational strike that was. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's just not. It's not like those little leaks are naughty because
they're
that would have
really
been
naughty.
huge.
That'd have been a lovely thing. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, that would have been a
big
great shout to get in the teen machine. Little
difference.
differential there would have been lovely.
Well, he must be owned by
Cheers,
like four
Connor.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
cheers. Con.
But Phil's question, is this the week to stick rather than twist? I'm not entirely sure what he means by that. I mean, I'm wildcarding, so I mean I'm definitely twisting. Do you know what I mean? But I
What
mean,
is has he
I
wildcard?
suppose I could have stuck maybe for one more week. Like I've transferred out the likes of Palmer and Rogers,
Yeah.
Dean, Jota, Solanke. They're all like out at the moment. So I mean I could have stuck with those for a little bit. But yeah, I guess, and also I guess next week, I think the international break comes in after next week, doesn't it? So maybe there's something in
Mm.
that. But obviously, the thing is now we do have fixture swings. Like now, you do want to be getting rid of the likes of the Brighton assets.
Well, I'm just
So I get it.
just.
Just depends how your team's looking. Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean, I'm taking a punt here, but I'm guessing this is Phil who's in our mini league. Which, by the way, if you're not in the mini league, jump in there. You got
Get
a
in the
big,
mini
big,
league,
big,
guys.
big prize giveaway at the end of the season. He finished his top. What is it, Pickle?
Oh yeah. So if you win our mini league, which is very achievable in my opinion, I mean I'm gunning for it for myself. I want this prize for myself.
Me too.
Will and I will buy you a Premier League football shirts of your choosing for next season. So that goes out to the winner. So
Official.
get in touch, man. It's free to enter. Manager of the month will talk through your team, give you shout outs on the pod. Yeah, go on, talk to me about Phil.
I'm guessing this is Phil. There's only one Phil in our mini league, but he scored 72 points this week, which is not too bad considering the average was 58. And his team looks good. I mean, kind of.
What's his
Uh,
team looking like for next week? Do we think he should stick or do we think he should twist?
I won't run through it all, but like he's got Mazraoui in there. It's not a bad shout. Nice differential. Scored 6 points. He's got Diaz, Salah, Smith Rowe, Palmer, Haaland, Duran, and Calvin Lewin. Rogers on the bench for 10 points, which is a shame. He had Greaves in as well. He could. That's a shame. I don't think that team looks bad, in my opinion.
That sounds good. He didn't have many Brighton guys in there. I guess the only thing he's lacking, which he's going to want to do now, is get an Arsenal. Has he wildcarded, do you know?
It doesn't say on here. I think it would say if he's what. No, it hasn't
Can you
yet.
go
But
back to like game week 4? See if he
let's have a look.
wildcarded in game week 4.
He didn't. He didn't wild card in game week 4.
Mm,
He's not doing too badly, but yeah,
no,
I
he's
think that
not.
team looks not too. I think it looks all right. But I personally, if it was me, I would wait until after the international break. At this point,
Agreed. I like the look of your team, Phil. I think you're in good shape.
yeah,
All right.
yes, sir.
So Will, let's
Yeah.
run through your team. How'd you get on, mate?
I didn't do my plans up.
Yeah,
But
sure. So
yeah, I
while we're
think
talking strikers, I'm going to go
yes.
into my wild card because I
Oh,
think this is one
let's
of my big
yeah.
conundrums. Um, so from the team that I just went through, my game week 5 team to my game week
Mm,
6 team, I'm chopping out Dean, Bednarek, Rogers, Palmer, Minte, Jota, and Solanke at the moment. But as mentioned earlier, a couple of those might end up coming back in. I'll see how I feel at the
yeah.
end of this week.
So, what are your
And I've
thoughts on strikers? I got some thoughts for
so
you.
so hang on. So I've bought in Gabriel,
Sure.
and I've bought in Saka to Arsenal to go with Raya. So I'm tripled up on Arsenal. I've bought in Greaves because he's my 4.0 switch for Begnarat, just because Ipswich have got better fixtures coming up and mildly better defensively, perhaps. I've bought in Luis Diaz to combat. I'm still going with no Salah. I'm not bringing Salah in on this. Luis Diaz at the moment is doing the business, and if he can carry on, then great. At the moment, I've got Semenyo coming in with Mbuemo, and I've also got Calvert-Lewin as well. So what that means is I've got a front line of Haaland, Calvert-Lewin, and Vardy, which I don't like. That is my weakness at the moment. But the thing is, what I'm thinking is one of those is always going to be on the bench. So I can't imagine a world where I'm going to be playing all three of those. And the way I look at it is I could go down on a midfielder such as like Semenyo down to like Dibbling. Old Dibbles, who we talked about last week. He played fantastic again this week.
The Dibbler.
He's the Dibbler.
He's great.
He's really, really good. He's playing a lot of minutes and he's looking very, very good. As a 4.5 midfielding option, I could bring him in and then I could upgrade a Calvert-Lewin or a Vardy to like a Solanke again, or even like a Jackson,
Oh,
depending on what, because at the moment, right, Jackson is also he's becoming very hard to ignore.
he's doing it again. He's doing it again.
Yeah. This is one of the strikers, like, because who's performing out of strikers at the moment? You got Haaland, you got Jackson, you got Chris Wood. Is probably the third one. Chris Wood is still chipping away, isn't he, Will?
That's what,
Um,
yeah, that's what I was gonna mention him. I was like,
yeah,
you can't ignore him. He's on
no.
pens. He scores goals. Forrester looking quite neat and tidy. You know, it's a tight game still.
Let me just hang on one sec. I'm just
Dibblings.
gonna get
The
my
only thing
fixtures
about
up.
yeah, I've just brought up Dibbling's fixtures. Southampton have got some tricky games coming up, and they're not great. Obviously, they've got Bournemouth away, and then they've got Arsenal, Leicester at home, then Man City, then Everton at home, Wolves, Liverpool home.
Sure. But I mean, with Dibbling, it's fixtures are kind of irrelevant because he's an enabler and he's going to stay on the bench.
He's such a cheeky chappy, isn't he?
Oh, he's lovely. He's lovely, isn't he?
I bet he's lovely to his mum.
Yeah. I mean, how old is he? I think he's 18, isn't he?
I think he's just turned 18, yeah.
I was actually looking at Forest fixtures. So where are we game week 6? They got Fulham this week,
Mm.
Chelsea next week, Palace, Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle. See, that's a pretty decent run, to be honest. Like Chris Wood is definitely someone of consideration. Um, But yeah, at the moment, having Calvert-Lewin, he's gone up now. I think he went up last night to 6 mil, did he? But a 6 million and a 5.7 million striker is just giving me more money to push around midfield. I think in a couple of weeks, I'll probably save up a couple of transfers and maybe upgrade a striker. But for now, I like the look of Semenyo's fixtures because I mean Bournemouth they got Southampton and Leicester next up, so he's one I definitely want to get in at least for the short term, and then maybe game week 8 I could be chopping him down to old Dibbles and upgrading a striker. But yeah, it's just the striking options. No one's really putting their hand up apart from Erling really and Jackson. Because I think Calvert Lewin is going to be a good one because of the fixtures, and he did look good this weekend. He could have had a couple of goals again on another day, but that's what we said
Mm.
last week, and he didn't. Muniz is obviously looking; he's not an option anymore. He was left out again. Raul came on again. He got rid of the
Squads.
cornrows. Did you see that, mate? That's a
Yeah.
shame. We were a big fan of the
I
cornrows.
liked them. I liked them. Yeah, well, I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
But hey, didn't affect his football. Scored a lovely goal,
Really
actually.
nice. Really nice
Um,
touch. I haven't
yeah.
finished. I mean, I really enjoyed that one. Tell you who else has
But
scored an absolute belter? And Mbuamo scored that hook. Oh,
oh,
loved
bloody
them.
hell! What a goal!
What a
Yeah.
goal. It was some
So
goals this
yeah,
week. Sorry.
he's in. He's in. And Mbeumo is one to keep an eye on because Brentford they're not really getting results at the moment. But Mbeumo's still involved in everything. So and he's on pens. They've got West Ham, Wolves, Man United, Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth. So they've still
Mm,
got a very nice run, kind of up until game week 14, to be honest with you. So he's definitely in. So another big talking point for me was whether I went double Arsenal attack or double Arsenal defense. And again, going back to what I've just discussed, Havertz, although they've had a tough few games, and he hasn't performed, and now they're getting into a good run where he almost certainly will perform. They've not got any Odegaard, which means their creativity is not quite what it was. Their goals against City, as we'll get into, obviously they came from the back a lot. Like a few of those goals, their most recent goals, they've all come from defenders.
mm,
Saka's not been scoring. Havertz has been a little bit quieter, and Havertz at 8.1 is just a bit too expensive for that kind of asset who's not consistent. And I think it has got to be Arsenal defence rather than Arsenal attack over these next three fixtures of Leicester, Southampton, and Bournemouth. So
mm.
that's where my head's at the moment with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like Havertz, I mean, did you see that statistic? He didn't have a single completed pass yesterday. Not one.
Really?
No, no, it's not
Wow.
been achieved since like 2004, 2005 season. Absolutely incredible statistic. So, and I really think, Havertz on his day is phenomenal. Obviously, it was against Man City, one of the hardest teams to play. But I don't know, man, tricky one. I definitely lean on double Arsenal defense or triple, like with just Saka as well. But that's how I would do it. But the only other person that's obviously up there, and we can't ignore, is Danny Welbeck. Like, even,
Yeah.
like I know that Pedro, João Pedro is kind of been favoured, and he's coming back from injury, and he picked up another little knock in the game on Saturday. Yesterday on Sunday. Um, but Danny Welbeck scored a fantastic free kick, and he could have potentially had a couple more goals as well. Like he's right up there with Nicholas Jackson in regards to returns. So, and Brighton's fixtures, I know they're a bit dicey in the next few, but then they do get up until, well, they're really dicey, in fact, up until like game week 12, and then they really start looking good. But if he's 5.8, if you
Yeah.
can't afford a Nicholas Jackson he's now 7.7.
Mate, you're so right to highlight him because he is I'm completely blindsided by
Yeah.
Welbeck just because of his past experience. What
Yeah.
he's been like in the last few seasons. You always just feel like it's just a matter of time till he gets injured. Obviously, we know we've got Evan Ferguson waiting in the wings, and I just haven't even considered him. But mate, we should be considering this guy because he's been consistent in every game this season. He's looked great. You're right. He
Mm,
should have had a second goal yesterday. He had some fantastic
definitely.
footwork in the box and should have finished. It would have been a fantastic goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's on form, but yeah, like you say, for me, I'm just kind of not looking at Brighton now because I'm
No.
coming into Wildcard with those fixtures. It's not something I want to
No.
be targeting. So my last wild card conundrum is
Mm,
you'll notice in that wild card, I only got one Man City asset, which is obviously Erling. Game week 7 to game week 12. Fulham, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton, Tottenham. Like, these are games for Man City we should be targeting. But who are you going to bring in? Like who's a slam dunk? Which City assets should we be getting into our team? Because beyond Haaland, I'm struggling a little bit. I mean, I watched from what I saw in the highlights yesterday. Vardyar was back to his best in terms of an attacking threat. He had a lot of shots, could have had a goal on a different day. He's definitely one that should be under consideration, but you just don't know with Rico Lewis, do you? Like, I can't commit to any of these guys, and at the price point that they're at, which is a premium price point for most of them, I just can't bring them in. I can't do it, but I know that I definitely should be looking at them. Savio could be one worth a shout because
Yeah,
he does look great. It was a lovely assist yesterday, and he
yeah,
seems to be growing into. He's getting more comfortable in that role at City, and
yeah.
his time on the pitch seems to be more locked than others. We're still missing Phil Foden. Like, I'm so surprised that Foden is not getting back into this team. It feels like there's something going on with Foden. It's weird.
I totally agree. I can't understand it. I mean, Pep did say after the Euros, he was like, I want to give him at least a month off because he hasn't had a single day off since, and he played loads of minutes last season. Maybe he's
I
a bit
think it. Do you know
sad.
what? Do you know what I think is? I think the thing that is like casting doubt more than anything else is the fact that when he was out, it was due to an illness, like a nondescript illness,
Mm,
and he's still out. Like, well, he's not still out, but he's just not playing as much as he
yeah,
would usually at this point in the season. Like I said, they did have Champions League last week, and he's still only playing like a bit part role. So it's just a bit strange, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. And when he is playing regularly, he's obviously going to be a big asset.
huge.
Um, like maybe another differential option, Willie, for the Teen Machine.
Ooh,
We've
what's his
got to
price
stick it
point
to
at the
Spike.
moment?
We've got to stick it to Spike. I think he's down to like 9.3, 9.2 now, isn't he?
9.3 and owned by 5.4%.
Yeah.
So
It's good numbers. It's good numbers.
it's good numbers for everyone.
Right. I feel like we've done half of Game Week 5's review already, but let's quickly rattle through these games
Yeah,
and see who else we've missed. So, West Ham 0, Chelsea 3.
big.
West Ham were awful in this game, man. They were so bad. Awful at home. Haven't won a home game this season. Obviously, not an easy game, London Derby, but they did not. They weren't a match for Chelsea in the early stages of this game. Chelsea came out firing, and West Ham, they were all over the show. Jackson was just cruising through their defence, slotting the balls home. His first two goals, very simple
Easy.
goals, good finishes. And
Could have had
yeah, I
more.
mean, Lopetegui, he was tearing his hair out, wasn't he? He
Oh,
was blowing a gasket, I believe, as the commentator was saying.
fuming he was. I mean, then there was I forget the name of that signing. They hooked him before half time. That's never a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
So
After like 35 minutes.
yeah, it was not a good place to be. But I mean, look, Jackson, the Chelsea team, they've got momentum and they're doing well. I think we have to pick, keep watching them because I mean, the only problem with Chelsea is again, it's a similar problem with as we've just discussed with Man City is who starts. I mean, you know that Palmer's starting, and it looks like Nicholas Jackson's always going to start, and they seem like two pretty decent assets going forward.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're the ones, aren't they? Anyone else is a complete lottery.
Mm.
Um, but something I just wanted to highlight is Maresca. I think he's getting a hold of this team and he's doing a good job. Like, we all know Chelsea are absolutely batshit club, and the ownership are all over the show, trying to buy each other out, coming down in the dressing room, just
Yeah,
all over the shop. But he's been laying down the law from an early point in pre-season. He obviously shipped out the likes of Sterling, um, and yeah, he seems to have gotten a grip of this team. He's quietly just going about his business. I mean, have they lost the game this season?
yeah. They've lost against City the first game of the season, and then they drew against
That
Crystal
was it.
Palace. But I was just about to say, look, they've had some really nice fixtures, all in all, and they've still got a couple more nice ones. They've got Brighton at home, and then not well. It's again the FPL website so misleading at the moment. Brighton at home's not a grade two fixture for me, and Nottingham Forest, as we know, isn't either. But And then it gets a little bit more challenging. But I don't know that I want to see them tested by an informed team, and maybe Nottingham Forest will do that because they're a kind of middle of the road informed team at the moment. So
Yeah.
we shall see.
Um, yeah, we'll see. And then obviously they're going to get absolutely battered by Liverpool in
Well, that will be the one.
when's that
Yeah,
game week
8.
8? Yeah,
Yeah,
great. Yeah, I look forward to that. So I think that does it for Chelsea. Maresca's doing a
yeah.
good job at the end. Okay, so Villa 3, Wolves 1, Watkins, Konsa, and John
John
Duran with
Duran,
the goals for Villa. Another pod, another week of us talking about John
John Duran.
fucking Duran, man. Jesus Christ, this guy.
I love him. I
Yeah.
don't understand why. I mean, why
I mean,
I haven't got him
He's
in.
one now. Like, he's scoring every week. Should we get him in? We probably should. Nah, sod it. He's not going to start next game. Do you know what I mean? It's
it's
mental. Like,
it's
how do you make
ridiculous.
that call? Like, he's kind of getting into like Jota of last season world, where it's like we might not start, but when he comes on, he's going to score, so it's fine.
Let's just put it this way, right? 6 points against West Ham. Okay, no points against Arsenal. 7 points against Leicester. 6 points against Everton. 5 points against Wolves. Just scoring, and he's 6.1 million with a
Yeah.
4.9% ownership. It's
Oh,
absurd. It's
that,
that look from you just then, TK was like, what? Like, we know these statistics.
yeah,
You're like,
and we're sleeping on it, aren't we, Will? Oh, mate.
is there a way that that they can squeeze in Watkins and John Duran? Like, is that a possibility that they can play together? Dare I say a manager actually plays 4-4-2 ever again?
Well,
Like,
obviously, look, they have played together at points this season, and they did at the weekend, I believe. But obviously, it's like for certain
yeah,
circumstances when they're going gung ho and they're
yeah,
chasing a comeback like they have been the last 2 weeks.
great game.
So it will happen. It will happen. But I can't see a world where they ever start together.
That's the difference.
Rogers got 2 assists. Oh my goodness, ladies
Finally,
and gentlemen, he has arrived. I think it was the fact that I had transferred him out immediately in my wildcard. He was obviously going to start hauling a 10
yeah.
pointer, and now I'm like,
Oh,
should I bring him back in? Should I
I
bring him
mean,
back in?
look,
Because I mean, like the thing is, right? I was thinking, look, Villas. We knew that their fixtures are coming to an end, but I mean, mate, we're game week. We've just had game week 5. They're still good until game week 9. But they've still got to play. They've got Ipswich next week. Obviously, that's a good fixture. Man United, even better. Fulham, and then Bournemouth in game week 9. So yeah, you definitely do want some Villa coverage.
mm.
I've just got rid of all of mine. I had Dean and Rogers. Um, Maybe Rogers comes back in, but like I say, I kind of like the other players as well. And is Rogers going to keep it up? I don't know. The thing is, right? It's not a flash in the pan. Like I think the fact that he hadn't scored in the first few games was more unlikely because he'd been playing so well. Like he had chances in all of those games. Like him
Totally.
actually hauling is not unexpected.
No.
So maybe this
Anyone,
is something now that we need to keep an eye on.
yeah, anyone that's been watching him or like even just hearing, like when watching Match of the Day, like that the term passing the eye test is huge because he looked so good every single week. He looked great, and he's played 90 minutes in every single game. And finally, for those that are stuck with him, well done.
Right, this is feeling like a long pod, so I'm going to skip through a few of these now. So we've got Fulham 3, Newcastle 1. As we mentioned earlier, Jimenez with another goal, and the Arsenal boys linking up nicely, the form of the Arsenal
Mm.
boys. So Iwobi got an assist for Smith Rowe, and then Reece Nelson came off the bench to get the third goal. Disappointing loss for Newcastle. Another great goal for Harvey Barnes. That guy can finish, everyone.
Mhm.
And he's in a purple patch now. So he's definitely someone we need to be considering. But next week they've got Man City. So maybe not this week, but then after that they've got Everton and Brighton before Chelsea and Arsenal. So yeah, his fixtures are bitty, but yeah, he's on form. I think the only problem is obviously, as I was just saying, Newcastle not particularly playing great. Leicester 1, Everton 1. Let's move on. No, it was,
I mean, we've covered it. We've covered it, haven't
yeah,
we? Like, it was
it
an
was.
absolute.
We'd build it for the Vardy versus Calvert-Lewin
Yeah.
matchup, but it just never
Nah.
turned out that way. It was a kind of cagey affair. Yeah, Vardy was quiet. He was quiet and came off towards the end of the game. So yeah, let's move on. Not much more to talk about there. Uh, the mighty Liverpool back in business, 3-0 against Bournemouth. Diaz, that man is on fire right now. He's just everything he touches turns to gold. Two fantastic finishes. He's razor sharp, man. Defenders just can't handle him. Jota was dropped for this game,
Yeah.
didn't play a single minute. And that beautiful bastard, Darwin Núñez, played and scored an absolute whammo. It was a gorgeous goal. That's what he does. He just does those magic moments. That's why the fans love him.
Yeah.
He can do nothing for 80 minutes and then he does that. It's kind of Haaland-esque, but not at all, really, to be honest.
He's just got the right. He loves playing for Liverpool, doesn't he? He just loves it. So, but yeah, Luis Diaz. My goodness, his points are insane. Apart from the Nottingham Forest, he's got, albeit a small return against Ipswich in game week 1, but then 14 points, 15 points, and 16 points. That's absurd.
Yeah. Salah got an assist, but it wasn't the haul that everyone was hoping for this week when obviously Haaland was playing against Arsenal. Everyone was backing Salah to be the better captain choice, but it didn't turn out that way in the end,
No.
which I was very happy about. Still, like I say, I still don't see a world. I'm not even tempted to get Salah in my wildcard team, which I thought I would be. And to be honest, if I'd wildcarded on game week 4, he almost definitely would have been in. But I don't know, a couple of lesser performances, shall we say, from him. Like he's still good and he's still chipping in, but I think he's kind of giving us the performances that I was expecting from him this season in the last couple. So obviously we've had some fantastic performances. I think he's just another one to keep an eye on. We know what he's capable of, but at the moment it feels like Diaz can cover his points for me, and I can spread that money around my team elsewhere. I'm not rushing to bring him in.
Agreed.
Southampton 1, Ipswich 1. Another big 6-pointer, another cagey affair. Southampton was super unlucky not to win this game. Ipswich scored in the 95th minute of the game. A deflected shot. Yeah, tough. That is a tough pill to take, man. Dibbling with the goal. They played well by all accounts, Southampton, but just very unfortunate. Like the deflection took it right into the top bins. There's nothing
Yeah.
Ramsdale could have done. I
He
felt for him.
saved. He did save. It made a couple of absolutely phenomenal saves, I must admit, Ramsdale. So kept him in it as well. But it's Ipswich Town again, still tricky customers, it seems.
Spurs 3, Brentford 1. Solanke is off the mark. Brennan Johnson and Maddison with the goals. And Buemo scored a fantastic goal, didn't he, Will? What a finish. Top bins volley.
Yeah, 22 seconds again, back to back, 22-second goals.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's wild. I don't. That surely he's never been done before. But anyway,
No.
he's looking great. He's put, as soon as Tony's gone, him and Wissa have stepped up to the plate. Wissa's injured, and Buamo's there. He's on pens. He's got to be. He's got to be. I don't like using the word, but he's got to be essential, hasn't he?
Yeah, we just got to keep an eye on Brentford, really, as a team. Like, because they've been stifled with their attacking options, leaving the club or getting injured. It's whether or not they can still be that creative team that they need to be. But yeah, I don't know.
Nice fixtures though. Nice fixtures coming up.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why he's still in my wildcard team at the moment. Solanke got off the mark, which was good to see. Easy tap in, but it's he said in his post match press conference that just good to get off the mark. It's just a weight
Yeah.
lifted off his shoulders. So Spurs have a nice tidy run as well. Actually, it's kind of a little bit bitty, but as of game week 6, they got Man United, Brighton, West Ham, Palace, Villa, Ipswich. So there's goals to be had,
Yeah.
and they looked good in this game. Spurs,
Well,
they've been attacking quite heavily all season, but they've just not been getting the goals.
yeah.
But yeah, creating a lot of chances, a lot of shots, and Maddison
Yeah, I was
had
glad
a
you said that.
fantastic game.
I'm
Yeah,
really glad you brought it up.
he could be back. He could be back. He looks tidy. He got a goal and an assist, I think.
Really, really good form. I thought he played a really neat, very like basically mistake-free game, which was it's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, because it was his rebound for Solanke, wasn't it? So he could have had
That's it.
two. Right, Palace versus Man United.
Mm,
Did you watch this?
yeah, watched it.
What's
Oh,
going on?
try.
Because I haven't seen much. I've only seen some headlines from the post-match interview where apparently Ten Hag said that we ate Palace alive. Did you hear that?
Guy's literally like a. I can't. He's beginning to
I need to check
really.
that.
Beginning to really annoy me because like I think I've defended him for too long, but it's getting really, really hard to defend him. The Crystal Palace at home is always a tricky fixture, as we said. We looked so good in the first 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. It was like Xerxes was like pulling deep, and like everyone, had Garnacho and Ahmed like running the show. Bruno looked good, or Bruno looked all right, and then all of a sudden, again, last 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the first half, we looked like a shambles. And the second half, as soon as Xerxes came off, I just felt like we'd lost all attacking threat, and it was just such a boring game. Crystal Palace didn't look good either, though. Like, to be fair,
No, no.
we Ezra was like should have finished a couple of chances. We should have finished a couple of chances as well. Apart from that, nothing to really report.
Where was Where's Rashford? Where was the ketchup, man? We just opened the bottle. We were looking forward to a nice old dollop of ketchup on our plate. Nothing. Benched.
I
It's
I don't
all a bit odd, right?
I don't understand it. If for someone who's so obviously a confidence player, why would you get a return
Yeah.
in the last game week and then score again? Something's going on, and I don't get it. I don't like it because it just doesn't make any sense. Ten Hag, it's so annoying. It was good to see Ahmed and Garnacho starting. I get it. I do get that side of things, but just maybe not the right week for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Mate, I just love it. I love all the confusion. I love all the it's just it's just a bit balmy under Ten Hag
I
and I
know.
love it, mate. Just give
No,
me
it is
more of that.
insane. It is insane. But yeah, we'll
He's
see.
nuts, mate. He's nuts.
Yeah.
It's just like going like it's another mad Dutchman. It's like the days of Louis van Gaal, Louis van Gaal. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
this was the kind of shit we were getting every week. These batshit decisions, batshit press conferences where he's just talking utter nonsense. I love it, mate. I love it.
It is good. I mean, he's wearing a lot of heat for United at the moment, which is fine as long as it takes trying to take it off the players in somehow. But I mean, it's just madness.
Yeah.
It's absolute madness. Oh, but a couple of things though, actually, two last things. Martinez should have definitely gone off the pitch with that double two-footed stomp.
Oh, yeah. He was
That was
very
not
lucky.
looking good. And then the
I
other
don't know
thing
what he was
was
thinking there, man. Like obviously
his head.
he wasn't particularly close to the player. He got a bit of the ball. But what are you thinking?
And the other thing was Delict is we have if he keeps on getting in the box like this, he's going to score goals. And for 5 million, I know it's a United defence, you're not going to get clean sheets, but he could have scored maybe 2 goals in the last few matches, easy.
Mm,
And we
yeah.
all love defenders that score goals.
Yeah, we talked about him last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, he's definitely we spoiler alert, we brought him into the team machine last week, so we got some nice clean sheet here. But yeah, he's a good definitely if you can stretch to a 5 million defender, he seems to be worth it at the moment.
Good
And
fixtures coming up.
United, yeah, they do have a nice little run. So United defensively could be something to look at in the coming weeks. Right, Sunday's action. So Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. This spilled over a little bit, didn't it? Hinshelwood got the first goal, nice header, Welbeck, beautiful free kick. That was all after Wood had already he went 1-0 up, didn't he, for Forest with his
And
penalty,
Pen, yeah.
well taken pen.
Mhm.
and then Sosa with the equaliser late on, before it all just boiled over, didn't it? My mind's gone blank. I can't remember who got sent off now.
Gibbs White got sent off.
Oh yeah,
It
that was it,
was
for a second yellow.
yeah.
And then minutes later, both managers are in the stands as well. It all just got, as you said. I was texting you, was no will. Just like,
Yeah.
mate, I got the live score updates on my phone, just like red card, red card, red card. And I sent it to you, and you're like, mate, it's just handbags, just handbags.
It was just a whole lot of nonsense going on. Gibbs White was a second bookable offence. It is what it is. But what are you going to do? And then all of a sudden, both benches were just at each other, and everyone was just fuming. And as soon as the benches come up and the managers are starting shouting at each other, the referee's just got no options. Just get rid of them. Absolutely. So Danny Welbeck, as we mentioned.
Yeah, Danny Welbeck, mate, great free kick. I didn't know he had a free kick in him.
He apparently it was his like the fourth free kick he's taken for Brighton ever.
Do you know what? I'm getting flashbacks. I feel like I might have seen maybe a Danny Welbeck free kick, a good, like a goal free kick taken when he was like at Sunderland or somewhere, and someone around that. But yeah, what a goal! Lovely.
Great.
Okay, right, let's do it. City 2, Arsenal 2. Obviously, we covered this quite a lot at the top of the show. Last minute equaliser from Stones. Arsenal were down to 10 men for the whole of the second half. Trossard was a massive bell end and got sent off at the end of the first half.
So stupid.
And great goal from Calafiori on his first full debut, first start. What a goal! But mate,
What
that
a
was.
goal.
Did you obviously you saw? I think it was a bit cheeky of the referee to let it slide. To be honest with you, that it shouldn't have stood in my book. Like quite rightly, City was still getting set for the free kick. Walker was running back, and they'd already taken the free kick. They definitely gained the advantage, even though from where he hit the shot, it wouldn't have made much difference.
No,
Fantastic finish.
it was that wasn't fair to be like they pulled over Saka and Walker to have a conversation to be like, look, keep it together, kind of thing. Ball wasn't even in the right spotted in the right place. I can let that off because sometimes we make a fuss out of exactly where the foul was committed, whatever. But Walker was pushing to try and get back with his back turned, and
Yeah.
they'd allowed him to
He
kick
was
off.
chatting to the referee on the halfway line with
Yeah,
Saka, and then he
they
had
pulled.
to bolt back to his
Yeah,
position, and the ball's
exactly,
already there. Do you know what I mean?
exactly. But so that was a bit unfair. But I think justice was kind of done with the equaliser. But I mean, that's was it Oliver the referee, Martin Oliver, or was
Michael Oliver, yeah.
Michael Oliver? Sorry, he had a tough game. He had a tough one on that fixture. I mean, it was all go as we said from the first whistle until the very last whistle,
Yeah.
and
Um, Another goal for Gabriel. He's proven himself to be the Arsenal defender of choice, isn't he? He's on
he
my wild card.
he
I
should. I've
love
already brought
Gabriel.
him in.
Yeah,
Already
I
brought him in.
he's always been my favourite Arsenal defender. I think I had him all of last
Same,
season as well.
same.
I know there was a lot of, obviously Saliba was the one who was in favour with everyone last season, but for me, Gabriel's always the most attacking.
Well, they put it well yesterday on the Sky coverage. They said before Gabriel was a little bit uncertain, he would make mistakes, and you were just like, oh, he wasn't as tidy. Whereas now him and Saliba have really built a fantastic partnership. And he's also a little bit dicey for minutes, wasn't he? Sometimes, but
Well, at the
now
beginning of
he's
last season, they thought he was losing his place to Ben
that's
White,
it. Yeah.
but then it never really transpired that way in the end.
But now with and use every single corner. I mean, he absolutely dicked on Doku for their first corner, and he should have scored that. I like how he didn't score it. I mean, he doesn't. I bet he doesn't even know. And then direct corner afterwards, they changed Doku for Walker, and Walker just got left. He dropped his shoulder, and Walker was in the dust, and Gabriel will just find that ball. And they, as I saw a meme earlier, it was like Arsenal treat corners like penalties. It is
Well,
as that
yeah,
much of a threat. So
yeah.
Gabriel has to be in.
No, he's great, mate. He's great. He's great. Great game. Great to see
Great
City
game.
and Arsenal both dropping points. Love to see it.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, let's look ahead to next week. So game week 6, we have Newcastle versus Manchester City, early kickoff. Arsenal at home to Leicester. Brentford at home to West Ham. Chelsea at home to Brighton. Everton versus Palace. Forest versus Fulham. Wolves versus Liverpool. Ipswich versus Villa. Man United versus Spurs. And Bournemouth versus Southampton. So a couple of tasty games in there. United versus Spurs jumps out as an interesting fixture. Not really sure what we can expect from that, to be honest with you. I mean, Spurs, as we said, very attacking at the moment. Madison suddenly in a bit of form. Solanke's got his goal. If you had to make a prediction, Will, what do you reckon?
Um, I mean, all of me wants to say United win, but I think it'll probably be. I can envision like maybe a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I
I
was
think two,
thinking
or
it feels a bit
maybe
too allish, doesn't it? Or maybe a
yeah.
3-1 Spurs, maybe.
I was going to go probably like a 3-2 Spurs. I think.
Mm. Newcastle at home to City. That'll be tough. Newcastle just still not. We've not had that really strong performance from Newcastle yet this season.
Do
They've
you know
had
what?
glimpses. They've had glimpses, but they're just they're still trying to find. They're still trying to get everybody up to speed in their team. It feels like they're just not quite firing all cylinders, but they're getting by. They're getting by, and they'll definitely cause problems for City. But I mean, you wouldn't bet against Haaland. He's definitely a captaincy option. Wolves v Liverpool. This will be an interesting game. Wolves still not playing badly, but still losing every week at the moment, which is really tough on Wolves. Like I say, they're not playing bad football and they're scoring good goals. Cunha's looking good. Mario Lemina's looking good as well. He's causing a lot of teams trouble, but
Mm-hmm.
they're just struggling to get some points over the line at the moment. And you'd fancy Darwin to get another start in this game after getting his goal.
Mm.
Um, we'll see. Obviously, eyes on midweek against West Ham to see who starts that game. But hopefully, another routine win for Liverpool. And then Sunday, 2 o'clock, we got Ipswich versus Villa. Will, any thoughts?
Just eyes on John Duran. That's all I care about for Aston Villa.
John Duran. Right. So, what's your thinking then? Game week 6. Let's have a little look at our teams. What are you thinking in terms of transfers and captains?
So I think I'm going to captain Haaland against Newcastle away. As I said, I have a feeling. I just have a feeling that he's just going to bang again. Like he's up for it. He's so sharp at the moment. Even against Arsenal, that finish was tidy. And then, do you know what? This sounds crazy, but I want to try and get back on track with my original plan. And of course, Wissa I was supposed to have 2 transfers by this point. I had to make one last week, so I might. I know it sounds mad after just wildcarding, but I think I might take a -4. My plan. I've already brought in Gabriel to last night. First thing I did, don't knew he was going to go up in price last night, which he did. So I snuck him in there before he raised by 0.1. So he's come in for Robertson already because Arsenal's fixtures are, as we know, fantastic. And then my original plan was to bring in Embuemo for one of the Brighton players. I think it has to be Mitoma. So I may do that.
Hmm. Okay. And Captain Haaland, you said.
Yeah, I think so. I just hope it may change. Salah away against Wolves, as we said, it just doesn't look like he's really doing it.
So I think the clear captains for this week, we've got quite a few options here. You are, as we said, Haaland against Newcastle away. That is the early kickoff, I believe, on Saturday. Um, am I right in saying that? Because that's the only thing that puts me off. I hate captaining a
Uh,
player in the early kickoff
yeah,
because if it goes tits up, weekend's absolutely ruined, and you're in a grumpy mood the rest of the weekend. Like don't care what happens now. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Just tell me on Monday. So
so
yeah, Haaland away to Newcastle, Saka at home to Leicester. He's now won a targeted Saka for this week to be captain. Um, I still think I will go there with captaincy for
mm,
Saka, but I just
it's
it's just lost a
tricky,
bit of
isn't
its
it?
sheen. It's just lost a bit of its sheen since no Odegaard, and but I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Salah versus Wolves away. which you just talked about. Obviously, he's not as good away typically than he is at home, but he's Mo Salah, could do anything, scored a hat-trick, no problem. And then
Yep.
Watkins away to Ipswich is also an interesting shout for captain. Neither of us own Watkins.
John Duran.
Yeah, John Duran, get him
Maybe
in.
I'll bring him in instead of Mbwamo.
But yeah, I think at the moment I'm
It will
thinking
change.
Saka captain is probably where I'm at. Right, guys, I think we should do a little Teen Takedown update.
Oof.
It's been a little while, so I'll just remind everyone on one of the very early episodes of the show, Will's 14-year-old nephew got in touch.
15. He's 15 now.
Is he had a birthday, is he?
He had a birthday.
Will's 15-year-old nephew got in touch when he was 14, and he threw down a challenge to Will in particular, but then he roped me into it as well and said some very unflattering things about me and Will. So we accepted his challenge, and we have created a differential team called the Teen Machine that we are using to take down Spike, his name is. And there is still a lot of debate over what the forfeit's going to be. Guys, I'm not going to lie, we could really do some help on this.
Yeah.
What would be a nice fair forfeit for two men like Will and I, and also a 15-year-old lad? Because we can't just be like, loser buys this or buys that. Like, I don't know, we're limited when it's a 15-year-old. We need your
True.
help, guys. Let's
True,
see
yeah.
what you guys can come up with. Let us know. We need a good forfeit, whoever loses. But our differential team, we had a really good weekend.
So
We
good.
are differential team, right? So no players above 10% owned. We took a -4 this week because we had Matoma
We had to.
and Romero of Spurs went over 10%. We had to take them out, whether we were going to play them or not. The rule is if they're 10% owned, they're out. So we had to take a -4. It sucked.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
we
ridiculous.
had Anana for a 9-pointer, Pau Torres 1 point, Delict we bought in for Romero, got us 6 points, Robertson 6 points, Akanji 1 point, and Wemo 8 points. He's now gone over 10%. He's going to be out next week. We'll say goodbye to
Hook
him.
him. Hook him.
Bowen 2. So we bought in. We talked about McNeil a lot on the show last week. We bought him in from Matoma, and we went really bold and captained him, which in hindsight was a bit much. Yeah.
But he
We just
still
had
had a
to.
great game. When like watching the highlights, he is a great player. He's going to be
Yeah.
fantastic. But it's not
And also, I mean, if there's something I've learnt with these early transfers is that I've almost got to try and choose people who are unlikely to get up to 10% because it's just causing us trouble. Getting in
right.
like sort of Matoma and Romero, I thought they'd be good for a while. You know, chopping them. I only just bought them in. I'm going to chop them out again.
Yeah.
Romero's got to go. Bailey got 1 point. Cunha 8 points.
Great.
Nico Jackson, he got us 16 lovely points. He's now over 10%
He's
owned.
gone. He's
We're
gone.
taking another -4 next week, Will.
I think
At
you have
least. And on our bench, we've got Leno in goal, Ruben of Man City, Semenyo, and Visser. We'd love to get rid of Visser, but we're not taking a bloody -8, Will, are we? Do you know what I mean? So he's just going to have to sit on the bench, and we're going to have to take out all these really good players that we've got. So we got 62 points this week, and Spike got 58 points this week. So with the -4 that we took, we ended up coming out level this week, which was a bit of a shame. So we are now officially, as things stand, going into game week 6, we are 25 points behind that little shit. But feeling good, feeling confident. 62 points is a great haul with no big hitters. Do you know what I mean? But I think one thing that we are going to notice when I was just talking about captaincy is there's some big hitters with some nice fixtures this week. So we might be up against it this week. Anyway, screw that guy. Right, guys, we're going to call it a day this week. Obviously, we've got Match of the AI, which will be coming to you on Friday now. So that gives you guys something to look forward to. But thank you very much for listening or watching wherever you are. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, then if you give us 10 more seconds of your time, that would be amazing. Just give us a little 5 stars if you've enjoyed this pod. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And anyone that's watching on YouTube, then please do like and subscribe. And we would love on all the platforms to just, if you dropped a little comment, and even if it was just a little hi, or tell Tom that his shirt's weird, or that I don't know, should be supporting a better team. But yeah, please do get in touch. We love to hear from you on socials as well. Tom and Will, FPL on all the platforms.
Yes, we'll be back next week to talk through how game week 6 went, and hopefully talk about my triple digit return for my wild card. Very exciting. We see you then. That's a wrap. Hit the music.
I would throw the ball at the back of your head if we scored, just so you know.